I don't know.
I was gonna say make it Christmassy.
Yep.
What sound is that on the piano? What's that called?
Organ.
What is like Gregorian
Violin
chant?
SCT. Violin section.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it
Yeah.
like
That is a
Isn't that a choir? It's like the Gregorian choir.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It's an era of music.
Yeah.
I know that because I
no,
took
you're talking
a
about
music.
Gregorian chant.
Yeah, like
Right?
it's a kind of music.
Yeah.
That's what that reminds me.
That's
Right?
not.
Isn't
no,
that-
Gregorian chant is like Celtic, like it's like an old. I think like
It's like the-
old Catholic music.
That's
like,
Yeah.
That's what that sounds
But they
like.
weren't playing violins. They were just.
No, that sounded like organ to me.
They didn't have organ. They didn't have nothing. Gregorian
like
chant
monks.
is monk singing. Well,
Well,
welcome back to What the
What the
Podcast.
What the
I'm Ryan,
I'm John.
and together we are
Ryan and John.
on the couch as always. Producer Kara Tafoya and the lovely Annie Scoveman
Bada bing, bada
on
boom.
another very special
Bing bong.
Christmas episode. You see these dogs out in the yard, just know upstairs I'm going on.
Wow.
Bing bong.
No.
Guys killing it.
That whole thing has
so
taken my
good.
life by storm.
Okay,
I
I
would
still
just
don't
say
know what is the origin. don't even know.
it's just a dude out on the street in
like,
Coney
yeah.
Island.
Oh,
Like
a
just
street
talking
interviewer.
to people.
why did I always think it was a what's
what
his
the guy
face from
says.
SNL thing?
Oh no.
That's
'Cause
what's
the
so
king of
funny.
Coney Island.
No,
is what he's
no,
called,
that's why
right?
it's so funny because it's just regular people like out
It
on this
is
crazy-
Coney
which
Island.
Coney Island is, if I'm correct, like the Newport Beach, the Venice Beach of the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the guy's like, "Yo, Ariana Grande, come to Coney Island." Like,
So good.
it's just so good. So one of my favorite things in life, I think,
I was
is
thinking-
just nonsense, random people that'll say anything and do anything.
I was just thinking about how these creators that we're seeing on TikTok, how they just like are so like they just pick something so unique and
Yep.
weird, and they just like run with it. And the thing which we've talked about before is like the sound, because that sound was so iconic that like not only were people using it to like make their own version,
Yes.
but then like some guy like remixed it into a song, like
Yeah.
all the
Incredible.
elements. Like it's just crazy how. People get these crazy, like just like very unique
Yes.
ideas, like go
Yeah.
out and do this, and all these impressions we see on TikTok. I mean, I see a lot of impressions,
Yeah,
not even
yeah,
of people,
for
but
sure.
just like characters that they make on their TikTok profile. It's crazy.
I will say TikTok has leveled up for me in this year. Is
Yeah.
that when I feel like it first came on the scene, there was a lot of those like people that would do like no offense to cosplay, but like would cosplay and would like just mouth like the words to
Yeah.
movies or TV shows or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just like kind of cringy,
No,
Which
for sure.
Yeah.
that still is. It's still.
which is still a thing.
is
But I
very
feel
big.
like to what John's saying, like the random sound clip that somebody shares and then it turns into like a meme is
Yeah.
just, it's my favorite thing.
And I think it's hard too, because the reality is like I'm sure that cosplay section. That's the thing that's beautiful about the idea
Yes.
of TikTok
Yeah.
is
It can be whatever you want.
it can be, and we all see similar things because we're sending it to each other. We all have similar for you
Yes.
pages,
Uh-huh.
but like there's someone who could see our videos that we are like, oh my gosh,
Like,
this is so funny,
Cringe compilation.
right? And or like
You just post clips of your podcast. That's cringy.
But like they'd be like, "What's
Pretty good
Bing
stuff,
Bong?"
though.
Yeah.
You know, like there
They're
are
like,
people
I
who
don't-
legit are like, "That's not on my For You
Yes.
page."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's such a vast,
It's
social media.
crazy, and it's crazy. Like I can tell the difference from when I'm on my TikTok account and the What the Podcast TikTok account.
Yeah.
If I hit the For You page, I'm like, and first it'll go, Ryan and John would think this is so funny, and then I'm like,
Oh.
they would think all of these are funny. What the heck? These are not that funny. And then I go, what account am I
Which
on?
is funny because I don't even use the What the Podcast TikTok account, so it's just
It's
John.
probably because
But we
I
have
haven't
similar-
been on it in a long time though.
it's probably
It's
probably
in
like.
probably like 6 months since I gave.
We do
you
have
mine.
similar senses of humor though.
And then
Yes.
I also, it's probably a compilation of I send sounds that I find
Yeah.
funny on my For You page
that's
to
what it
the
is.
What the
Yeah.
Podcast.
Yep.
Classic.
Oh,
Well, and I
Ryan,
think, too,
fix
it's
that
like-
Santa behind you.
How's that?
Fix that
Santa, he's falling.
The
Oh,
like frame
no.
picture.
little picture there.
Oh no.
No, I was gonna
Santa.
say
There we go.
There we
that
go.
I think also I don't know if we talked about it on this show,
Go
but
ahead.
just that proximity thing with social media where because it's tracking you and it does this thing where the people that you're like always around
Yeah.
it shares content because you guys are friends so like whenever I send Ryan something nowadays, it's like, oh yeah, I've already seen it. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
I really think that proximity thing is like.
Well,
a lot
even
more
It's
than-
I
true.
saw, and we're gonna be talking about it, but I saw a trailer for a movie with every intention of being like, guys, you need like, I want to show you this, and then you start talking about it,
Yeah.
and I guessed the exact trailer.
Let me. Do you
didn't
remember the
even-
title of this movie?
Is this a trailer that came out a long time ago?
It's a trailer that came out today.
Today.
Yeah, nope.
At the day of filming being Tuesday the 14th.
Yeah, it's a lot, honestly, and I think it's
So
gonna help
good.
me.
Hey,
Hey,
everyone saw
The
this.
It's
name
not
of
a
this
lot.
movie, I'm going to describe to you, and this is a great movie trailer too.
It's amazing.
Can you try and describe it, and then I can guess the title because I don't even know what it is.
No, I'm going to tell you the title, and then I'm going to ask you who you think is the star
Well, you
of
already
this
said
movie.
earlier the first name,
Go ahead.
Nicolas Cage.
Dang it. Okay, never mind. Forget that. Nicolas Cage is in this movie called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And
See,
this
that
is
would have been funny if you tried to explain that title and for me to guess what the
okay.
title was. Come
It
on.
can't like reality is stranger than fiction in this case. Is that Nicolas Cage plays himself in this movie?
No.
Yeah, he
and,
does.
And he gets somebody offers him $1 million to come show up at his
Party.
private island or something
Yeah.
party. And that's it. Like that's the premise that this trailer gives us is that Nicolas Cage is like
Okay, is he just going to Epstein's
'cause-
Island?
Okay. Wow.
ruined. No,
No,
it's
it's
like
like
this
he plays-
debonair, like rich guy Italian, and he's like Nicolas Cage, like I love you in your movies. Like this is fantastic. You're
And he's
fantastic.
So, like,
he's
a-
like poking fun at the fact that he's kind of been washed up.
Like this
Like
meme.
he even talks about, they're like, Nick, like you need to just accept it.
Yes,
He's
his
like,
agent is talking to
"No,"
him like
Okay, so
Like,
someone
dude, you
definitely
need to
wrote this
do
as a
it.
joke, and Nicolas Cage was like, "I want that made."
exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
1,000%.
I
And
think,
like,
and what's
they have
funny is
big
I think
names
I
in
remember
it.
this being like a meme. Like I don't know.
But Nicolas Cage
And it
isn't
has-
washed up.
But
I mean, but he's just
he hasn't
such,
done anything
he's
in
so,
so long.
beyond. I mean, he has. He was in that Five Nights at Freddy's like
Yeah.
movie.
Exactly.
Was
Yeah.
He's done
They
nothing
make
in
a-
That's
so.
fair. All right, that's fair.
About they made a joke about him being in some animation movie. What was it called? Croods?
The
or
Croods.
Croods.
He was in the Croods.
Yeah, like
And
Tiffany
and his
Haddish
agent's
is
like,
in it.
nobody's seen the Croods.
He's like, he's like, Tiffany Haddish goes, didn't you see Croods 2? And he goes, no, I'm 40. Why would I see Croods 2? And she's like,
'Cause you're in it.
okay, yeah.
Oh
so
gosh.
funny. And just like imagine being that kind of celebrity is like you are so beyond yourself, like just your existence is a meme.
Well, and then
Constitutes that.
I
And
mean,
then
the
the
dude had
movie-
like 7 castles or something, right?
yeah.
Like, or he owned 7 homes, one of them being like an Irish castle.
yeah.
That was probably all during National Treasures.
Bro, okay.
That was
if
the
you're
height of
Way,
his
hey,
career.
hey,
way
hey.
before National Treasure.
Let me
Dude's-
just put this
dude's
right here.
A major
If someone's
celebrity.
stepping up towards National Treasure and is gonna talk bad about it, we have to go outside
no.
the studio.
Oh, no.
Because
We
that
love
movie
National
is a
Treasure.
national
Good movie.
treasure
Yeah, yeah.
itself.
This
I
movie-
have only seen the first one, and I love it.
Oh, maybe we need to watch the second one tonight. National Treasure 2: Book of Secrets.
I've seen. Okay, so I saw the first one. And
You know
then,
what happens in National
which
Treasure 2:
one
Book
is
of
the?
Secrets?
I've only seen one part of another one when they're going into Mount Rushmore.
That's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only
Wait.
seen the part of them
Yes.
actually going
into
in,
Mount
That's true.
Rushmore.
and that's it.
That's National
Spoiler
Treasure 2.
alert,
Spoiler
jeez.
alert. He kidnaps the president.
Yeah. And he tells him the code, and
he's
then
like,
he says,
Mr. President, I know there's a secret book.
Book.
And they're like in
"Can
Mount
you do a
Vernon.
Nick
Okay.
Cage?"
Mr. President. This harkens
Yes,
back to like
it's
our
one of
first or second
his.
episode.
I love this.
Mr. President, I have to tell you about something. I know there's a secret book, and I need you to tell me where it is. Mr. President. No, there's okay. So he like goes to this party in Mount Vernon. He goes to this
He
party in
sneaks
Mount
into
Vernon.
the president's birthday party.
and
That's
he's
what
like,
it is.
Yes, and then he's like, "Hey, Mr. President."
I found this map. A man who loves history.
Yes, he's like, "Let's go check out the catacombs of Mount Vernon." And dude's like, "The president."
Yep.
He's
Like,
like,
yeah,
totally
sure.
for it. Hell yeah.
Which, by the way, in this movie,
They
they
my
weren't.
schedule.
You know when they do a movie where they're like not trying to be like, "Oh, this is Ronald Reagan," or "Oh, this is Bush." Like,
Yeah.
it's just like president.
Oh yes.
You know,
It's
in-
just a random
in
white
Independence
man.
Day, it's just like
Yeah, random
homie.
white.
Yeah.
Like
Random
my
white.
daughter's got a date, or I've got a date with
the president's
My date with
daughter.
the
so
president's daughter.
stupid. Or any movie, really.
Yep.
Hey,
What's
it's not
the-
stupid. It's like, where do you live? It's a big white house. You can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
Oh
Can't
my
miss it.
gosh.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm getting
Classic.
beyond myself.
But
Sir.
this,
gonna watch it,
this new movie, what I love about it is
Yes.
it takes all his like most iconic roles, and the trailer shows clips of him. It has no explanation of how any of this is
No.
happening,
So
but
good.
it like shows like almost like kind of a compilation of how has to step into all those roles again.
Is he doing a honeymoon in Vegas one?
No, but it's
No,
like
it's
him
like-
like shooting things.
Yeah, he's
and,
like Pedro Pascal,
okay.
I think is his name, plays
Yeah.
the like
Yeah.
eclectic rich guy, and he's so like his accent already in this trailer is so good. He's like Nicolas Cage, I love you. Like he's just doing
Oh,
like
he's
At one
Italian
point, he
guy.
had like the
This
statue
accent.
of him like with 2 guns, and he's like,
like
"This
a
is
wax.
the most horrific thing I've ever seen." He's like, "I'll give you 20 grand for it."
He's like, this
So
is
good.
grotesque.
so
Oh yeah,
good.
this is good.
This
It's
grotesque.
from
So is
20
this-
grand.
some movie.
Is this movie going to be in theaters or Netflix?
Oh, full blown
Full-blown
theaters.
theaters.
I think.
Oh yeah, this movie's being made.
It's
Wow.
I mean, it was a big budget
Is it
like
Paramount?
trailer.
It has Tiffany Haddish, it has Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Like
Pedro
it's
Pascal.
got it has
Is
like
Awkwafina
big
in
names.
it? I feel like Awkwafina would be in it.
I don't know, mate. Not
Believe it
yet.
or not, no.
I love her.
Is this where the film industry is going though? You know, like, are we should start making movies?
It's
about
perfect,
our-
truly. I mean, that's kind of like that becoming what's
Well,
his name?
who's the other like meme like
on.
Nicolas Cage? Like who would be the same statue?
I know what you're. I know.
Statue
What
of
you're,
Nicolas
being John
Cage.
Malkovich.
oh, okay, there you go.
Being John Malkovich,
Yeah.
where it's like inside
Yeah, I
John
don't know.
Malkovich's brain. It's
I-
like when actors play themselves in movies, like for the meme.
Yes.
That's got to be the best thing ever.
And like granted, like maybe it's us, right? Like maybe
Right.
it's because the content that we are getting like pushed is like, you know, catered towards us. Cause I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the movies in the trailers that I'm seeing are like the comedies are like almost kind of like second level comedies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Where it's like playing off of a certain thing. And if you
Yes.
don't get it, then you're not going to think it's funny. But if you get it, it's
Like
hilarious.
it's not TikTok the movie, but
Yeah.
it is like stemmed off of like he is a celebrity, right? And like that's the big joke is like
Yeah.
he's just this ridiculous celebrity, and the fact that they're making a movie about it starring him like
So
means that
good.
he's aware
that
that
was,
this is a
like-
meme. He is a good sport about it, and there is a gigantic like there is a
He's
company,
like, yeah, I'll make millions
There's
of
a production
dollars.
company that's like, yeah, like we see the value in this
Yeah.
meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
so good.
we've already seen it on Only Murders in the Building when they bring
Okay.
Sting in.
Yes.
And like he's
I love it when
That
it-
part is so
when it's
funny.
a cameo of a celebrity and they're
like
playing
they think
themselves.
Sting
And he's like, I'm
murdered
Sting.
him and
Yeah.
Or
so
like when
funny.
Sting
series.
played Sting on the B movie.
When Ray Liotta's Ray Liotta in
Wait,
the B
and,
movie.
and what's his face? The news
Larry
report-
B. King, right?
Larry
Yeah.
King.
He's like, there's a B. You're Larry B. King. There's a Larry King. And he's not a B. There's a in the real world and the honey.
God.
Wow.
Keep them coming. Just
Another
keep-
movie that had a
What
weird
other
amount of
impressions
stars.
can we have?
So
Ryan, do?
stupid. Jerry
What was it,
Seinfeld's
like
like,
2006?
come be in my movie. And they're
You
like,
want to
okay.
be in my movie?
You want to be in it? You want to be a bee?
The branding's gone too
How
far.
bad?
Yeah,
boy.
frankly.
Fall in love with a girl.
But that's kind of the same thing. Is like B movie obviously didn't know it was going to be a meme, but like it's so far beyond
Somebody wrote that
meme.
being like, "This is such a cute animation."
Yes.
I don't know.
movie.
They must have known.
I feel like they-
Oh no,
I
there's a
feel
lot
like-
of like funny joke. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
slightly not inappropriate, but what's the word? Like,
innuendos.
yes, a lot
Yeah.
of innuendos in that movie. I
We're
feel
all
like.
cousins.
Yeah.
That's my cousin.
Dude,
We're
that's
all
your cousin.
cousins.
Matthew
Gosh.
Broderick as the friend B.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like
I mean, look,
Isn't
me-
it the best when they take a kids movie, which like in itself, straightforward, is like a good. Like kids don't understand
Like
the jokes,
Shrek.
but then they like weave they
Oh
weave
my
in those
gosh.
jokes to the adults, and you're just like
You
in
know
the
what
back, like,
movie
oh,
has a
this
lot
is
of that?
Go ahead.
Toy Story.
Really?
If you watch Toy Story again, there are a lot
Dude,
of
there's a
innuendos
sex
in
scene in the
that.
middle of that movie. Did you see that?
No.
what?
Yeah.
What?
In Toy Story.
No.
You guys, really? There's a sex scene in Toy Story?
No.
Come on.
Oh, you didn't see
Yeah.
it? Which
Yeah,
version did I
Andy's mom,
see?
Andy's mom has sex in that movie. Yeah, you don't see
Hey.
it because it's off screen, but
Oh, yeah,
she
yeah.
does.
Bet she did. Bet she
She does.
did.
Yeah, single mom, just trying to make it in the world, and then they move. Come on.
Come on.
You can't tell me she's
Come on.
Yeah, why'd
Read
you
the
move,
writing on the
huh?
wall.
And she has a baby,
so
right?
weird. Molly. You're talking
Yeah,
about Molly.
Yeah.
Molly.
Think about, I mean, like, obviously our parents were raised on a certain level of pop culture, right? But like this generation truly was built on memes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like the internet meme is like its own weird, freaky thing, you
well,
know?
I remember in high school, I saw the statistic, and I'm sure it's still true. And it was that our generation is the one that is the most open about what they're going through about
Yeah.
like mental health and everything, but the way that we would talk about it is through memes and like
Oh, yeah.
funny
Yeah.
tweets and like sarcasm of being like, depression,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
or like, LOL, can't
Yeah.
afford anything because
Who's
I'm
done
broke.
that?
Yes.
Who's done the depression?
Nobody.
Depression.
Everyone, back off.
You came in and you were super proud of it, and then I think we all made you feel like, oh, maybe.
No,
this isn't a good
I'm
idea.
right there with you because it is the like I sometimes I'll see a TikTok of like I saw one specifically and it was a guy that was like watching my wife to make sure she's not faking it after all these years. And it's like the
Did I
urn
send you that?
sitting
I
on the-
almost
think
sent
you
it
did.
to you.
I think maybe you did. But it's like
What?
It's that like it's a guy that's like staring at his wife's urn that has passed away. and
make
he's
sure
like
she's
yeah,
not
make sure she's not faking it to not have to like clean up after the dog
Oh
or
my
something.
Yeah,
Gosh.
when
like-
I have to do the dishes again, and I just stare at my wife to make sure she's
Not faking it.
She's
My
dead.
It's like
Classic.
I mean, right? You know, it's
It's-
that. It is
It's like it's like the dark
medium.
humor.
Yes, of course.
The memes that built us will be like a documentary that probably comes out. At some
memes
point.
Stop.
that built
Trademark.
us.
Trademark.
Because then-
Trademark. We're making
that,
it.
cut that,
You
cut that,
totally
cut
know
that.
that it is our generation because then you show our parents these memes and they're like, what?
They're like, what? There's times
What?
I'll show my mom a video trying to like include her in my life, you know, and she's like, I want to be my wife. Oh. And I'll show her, I'm like laughing so hard at it. And she goes,
I don't understand.
that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I was like, you ruined it. You ruined
Yep,
it.
yep.
You brought emotions into it. Ruined.
I feel like our parents.
Why is that funny?
generation, Like
Right?
they're so hot and cold. Like my parents, like they don't have any emotions. And then I talk to some people and they're like, my parents are so emotional. I'm like, they're the most.
Yeah, I will say
inconsistent
my
generation.
my parents
You know what
caught
I'm
on
saying?
pretty quick to memes. They're pretty
Oh,
good at
there you
memes
go.
now.
My dad is pretty good. My mom is still like,
Why is that funny?
they're fun. My parents will do this thing where they'll like find a funny video, but it's like, it's like not.
Not funny though.
Like
No, it is funny,
like-
but in like a not platonic. I guess platonic, like a straightforward, funny way. Like
Yeah.
everyone would
Straight,
find it
yeah,
funny.
okay.
Yeah,
and
sure.
they'd send it to each other, and then they'd be like the same room,
In the
and they'd
same room.
laugh.
I
and
love
we'd be
it.
like, "What?" And they'd be like, "Nothing."
My
And they
thing
wouldn't
is,
show us. We'd be like, but then they show us later, and it was just a stupid,
It was
funny video.
my thing is my parents, like my dad especially, he like his humor is derived from like the old SNL,
Sure.
like Jerry Seinfeld, like stand up, like
Yeah.
that is the kind of humor he has. And so he'll watch like the new SNL stuff, which is like a more about pop culture. And
not very
he's
funny.
like, I don't really get it. Or like he doesn't think it's that funny, or he doesn't see like, you know, he just
Well, he's
doesn't see the
right.
value in it.
Yeah.
But then like he'll still think that the like, you know, the like playing on the politics, the SNL skits about politics, he still thinks that's funny because
Timeless.
they've been doing that forever. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, perfect. And so it's just like interesting to see the things that like almost like what's gonna stick with us
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like later our kids are gonna be like, oh yeah, our parents think this is funny because like that's, you know,
Because
our
it was
parents
meta. Like, oh, meta was so funny.
yeah, our parents still
Yeah.
like send memes to each other. I don't know. I have a thing called TikTok.
Yeah.
It's all old people in there.
Well,
Matter of time.
Hey, look, it's a matter of time.
I think SNL. It's probably like thinking about it, just the concept and how long it's been around.
Yeah.
It's probably really difficult, right? Because their audience is constantly like sliding. You know.
And I mean, the
And
main
they're trying to
creator's
keep
been
up
the
with
same.
it, you know, and at the
Well,
same
that's why
time,
every
they're
year
trying
they
to hold
reassess
on.
their cast and they go, okay, well,
Yep.
is this person
Yeah.
still funny?
Yeah.
No. Is this person still relevant?
Well, it's hard.
Is Keenan Thompson still funny? Yes.
Recently, it's like
Somehow.
all the people are funny. I'm taking
Uh-huh.
these off. All the people are funny, but their skits. We've already like had this big conversation about SNL all the time about how it's just like
Pretty much every week. I mean,
There's
it's
like
literally
two.
we'll watch it and it'll be like that should have ended there.
Yep.
And it goes on for another 3 minutes.
Little too
And
long.
It's like
Oh yeah.
yeah, it needed to end.
my biggest
way
thing, I
before.
think, I've decided after watching it, we just watched the Billie Eilish episode.
Yeah,
Was it good?
It was good.
I would say
SNL.
It was
But that's how
here's
SNL
my,
is
here's
now.
my point is SNL insists upon itself. It's like
Yeah.
this is fun. Like here we are, the cutting edge of humor. Like
Yeah.
and then it, you know, they do the thing where it's like, oh, they break on screen and then it's funny.
Yeah.
Like
So they literally this past
that's my number
week,
one big problem.
They had a skit that was literally TikTok. It was
Oh,
like you were screen
yeah.
recording your TikTok and it was just swiping through. And the whole thing was that this dad was like, "Hey, can you take out the trash?" to his daughter. Like you see the text bubbles, and the daughter's like, "Yeah." And then it goes to TikTok, and she's just scrolling through TikTok, And the dad is like,
You remember that
"Where's
horror
the
movie where it was
trash?"
like all on phones,
Oh
right?
my gosh,
Yeah,
it was
what's
called
it called?
Unfriended. I saw it in
Unfriended.
theaters, and it was like, Sarah, you're frozen. Sarah, what's
Yeah.
the blender?
Uh-huh,
No,
uh-huh.
Sarah,
Yeah.
no.
So that was this sketch. It was like swiping through a TikTok feed, and all
Yeah.
of the people were like all the SNL cast was being different like
TikToks,
trends. So Billie
yeah.
Eilish was there, and she was like doing a dance, and
She
it was,
was a
like
nurse.
when you're a nurse and you do a dance,
And then her patient's in the back having a heart attack.
and then Pete Davidson was there, and he's like, I'm a guy, like.
But then the
Yeah.
whole point was that then the girl
made
is
TikTok the movie,
scrolling.
is what
No,
I'm saying.
she's scrolling, and then she finds a video of her dad with the text messages behind him being like, "When your daughter doesn't listen to you." It was
And doesn't take
this
out the
is
trash.
Stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the girl's like, "What the f, Dad? Take that down."
Brings me to my next point. Pete Davidson.
Oh,
He's got to go.
Wow.
He's got to go.
He's gotten
He's a
too
lot.
big.
He has become the thing. Like I don't know. I can't put my finger on it,
thinks-
No,
dude.
I mean,
Dude's
sucks
dating
because-
Kim Kardashian,
It sucks because everyone thinks
right?
he's hot
Is he
shit.
still dating Kim
Yeah,
Kardashian?
as far as I know, yes.
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't find him attractive.
But I think that was part of it. When he first got casted on SNL, I think he could have really been that like
could've
new
taken it
chapter of
seriously,
humor.
yeah.
Well,
Almost like
his-
Jimmy Fallon, right?
He's
Where it's
funny,
like
but
he's not
like,
necessarily like
he's just got the one punchline, which is like, I'm
yeah,
Pete Davidson.
yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely
He always does
I have a
that.
dead dad.
He's like, "Wow."
His intro
Yeah,
on
Pete
SNL,
Davidson.
like in the beginning, they're like, da-na-na-na,
Yeah.
saying their names. His intro, it looks like a completely different person.
Looks like a
Yeah.
homeless person.
He
Now he looks like a homeless
gotta
person.
he
be.
Now
still
he
has
looks
gone
fine.
through it, and
But-
but I think he's an icon not necessarily because of like his actual talent. No offense, bro, but like
And take
No.
if he's seeing
but I
this,
think
we-
it's
we're doing okay.
so
I think
true. I think it'll be fine. Offense
intentionally.
taken.
Yeah.
But I think it's more like his openness about depression and his
Yeah.
like it's more because he's saying what everyone else on the
He's
internet
just-
wants
I was
to
gonna
say.
say there's 100 people doing it better.
Oh yeah.
Bo Burnham. Like, why is
Oh,
Bo
yeah.
Burnham? Like, obviously he had a great year, Bo Burnham, but like,
Yeah.
why is he not as famous
But you know
as
what?
Pete
Because
Davidson?
he doesn't want to be that. Like I think.
Yeah, maybe
Like
you're
I think
right.
he's accepting fame as it comes. But I've been watching Bo Burnham for years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's been doing that
What was
his
his like
entire
main
career.
thing, like the fire,
Which time out?
like when
Make
he-
happy.
No, when he's like everything's burning down.
The world on fire.
The world on fire.
Well, yeah. I mean, since he was on YouTube, he was doing songs about depression.
Well, and then he was in a movie not too long ago.
he made Eighth Grade.
Yeah,
that what you're talking about?
no, but there's another one, and maybe it was like a long time ago. But he like played the love interest in a movie.
Oh,
he like
he was
broke into
in,
acting.
Promising Young Woman.
Yes.
He was in Promising Young Woman.
His
He
Killed it in
was?
that movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he played one of the guys.
Yep.
One of the guys.
one of the
One of
guys.
the promising young men.
Yikes.
the best thing that he was is when he was a part of that TV show. It only ran for one season. I'm trying to find. Oh, Zach Stone is going to
Yes.
be famous.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Really funny.
So good.
I wasn't hip to that show, and then I started seeing clips because everyone's like, "Oh, Bo Burnham's great now."
It's
Yeah.
so good. It was so funny.
My
But-
point is Pete Davidson. You know, it's not
It
important.
doesn't matter.
You know,
It doesn't
It's
matter.
not important because
Davison, there's no D.
because he's like he's a homeless person. He looks like a
Yeah.
homeless person. His sense of humor is
There's
one
no
note,
depth.
and
No.
he's dating Kim Kardashian. Somebody
Yeah.
please like make that make sense to me.
It
The
doesn't.
irony too is that like I've heard I watched an interview with him and somebody was like, "Oh, you're getting your he has all these tattoos."
Yeah.
that he's
Uh-huh.
acquired. And he's like, "You're getting your tattoos removed," and he's like, "Yeah, well, I want to be in movies, so and it's having to cover them up sucks." And I'm like, is this guy like trying to make a run at seriously acting?
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Like,
I mean, he did. I didn't
I'm
see
sorry.
that King of Staten Island
any
movie.
role that he's
No, I
going to
haven't
be
either.
cast in is just going to be a role that is himself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he's-
tattoos doesn't
he's-
matter,
yeah,
right?
He's
Yeah.
now
which works
yeah,
for a lot of
cast.
people,
Yeah.
right?
He's
but
typecasted.
We watched
I don't know. Should
when he was
we-
on Jimmy Fallon because he's hosting a New Year's Eve thing with Miley Cyrus. They're doing a party together.
Oh yeah, I saw
And
a
they
picture
were-
of them together.
Yeah.
They were talking about how
So
when they did
weird.
an SNL skit, they went out after and were like, it got super drunk. We're like, let's go get tattoos of our SNL skit. And it was We Babies because they were big babies, I guess. So they got it tattooed.
That's so
and then Miley saw on his commercial of like him getting tattoos removed. I don't know what commercial it is. It was like for like
Tattoo removal?
Something. It was like a
no,
Geico
it was
commercial.
for
or
it
something
was for
weird
something
like
stupid, and he's getting that one removed and didn't tell her.
That. It was
But
pretty
then
funny.
he shows it on Jimmy Fallon, and it is still there.
It's like half removed,
It
you
is
know, when you do
not
it like in
removed.
sessions.
Yeah. It just lightens.
But
over
even
time.
see, and there you go. It's like he is hosting like the New Year's Eve party with Miley Cyrus, who has
Yes.
like star quality.
Yep.
He was on that train wreck of a Jonas Brothers roast.
Yes.
Oh
He was
my
on the
God.
Justin Bieber
was.
roast, and like he was kind of okay,
funny,
funny
yeah.
for there.
The
But like,
Justin Bieber roast was funny.
yeah, that's probably
About the Stewart.
the
It-
funniest
it
that
makes
he's,
had to
I've
be
seen
the
him.
funniest one.
It makes me
Yeah.
sad
And Snoop
about
Dogg.
SNL
Uh-huh.
because I listened to a podcast called Smartless with Sean Hayes, Will Arnett, and
Yes,
why
Jason
can't I?
Bateman.
Jason Bateman, and they interview a lot of the kind of like each of them bring a guest on, and they don't tell the other two who it is, and they've had a lot of former SNL cast members on. And like it's been really cool to kind of hear the stories of like
pretend like that's not
distracted by
happening.
that
class.
Just pretend like it's not happening. Okay, go
I was
ahead.
like, okay. But they've had like all these stories talking about the good old days and like when SNL was the height of comedy and
Yeah.
was like pushing the limits. And I think part of it is kind of the destruction of TV.
Yeah,
Like people aren't watching it Saturday
Yeah.
night
Yeah.
live.
Yep.
They're watching it the next day so they can make
And I have
crappy
to say,
skits because it doesn't matter.
They've made it easier because now out here on the West Coast they play it at 8:30.
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
well, and
Yeah.
but it is true. And then the very next day, all of the skits are a YouTube clip,
Individualized, yeah.
individual
Yes.
on the NBC channel. So it's like,
Yeah.
That's
well,
where I see a
why
lot
would
of their
anyone ever
stuff
watch
is
it?
YouTube.
Yeah, and so then you don't have to sit through 20 horrible skits for like the 3 good ones.
Yeah.
And the reality is like the live skits used to be what they were like amazing at and were so good and those were the funny ones. And now the reality is like I feel like the pre-filmed ones are the ones that are good
Yeah.
and
yeah.
the live ones always suck.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and what does any of it mean, right? Like, do we? I don't want to be like SNL sucks like
No.
forever because it's like it's not like
I think it could
I think
could
it's
find its
funny.
new footing.
I think it's not as big as it needs to be. Like it's too big for itself now.
I don't think
That
we're
they're-
ready
they're
to give
making
it up.
content that is
Yeah.
internet quality. Like
Yeah.
there's so
Yes.
much of it on the internet at all times. That's always where the
Did they?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if any of us like know this answer.
man.
No, I,
But
on my
did
porch.
did they like add cast members?
with Andy Samberg.
God.
Get off my lawn.
Gosh.
She's not even on my camera.
No, I'm not.
No.
Can you cut to my camera really quick?
It's comedy's not funny anymore.
Okay, goodbye. I don't know if any of us know this answer, but back
That's a
in the
character
day,
I'm working on called
did
Grumpy
they-
Old Comedy Man.
Did they choose new cast members that weren't famous already?
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was
They go to the groundlings or like
Okay.
the Growlings was almost like a guarantee. Like 90% of the
uh-huh.
people,
That's
like
I
not,
listened
main
to-
people. That's,
yeah.
That's how the whole
I listened to Conan's podcast.
I
and
love Conan's
he always, And he
podcast.
always talks about how it was like Second City and the Groundlings in LA. And
Yeah.
every now and then. It's that movie we watched with Keegan-Michael Key,
I didn't watch it.
Don't Think Twice.
I wasn't there.
That's so okay. There's this movie called Don't Think Twice, and it's Keegan-Michael Key, and he's in like Second City or something,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, tonight's the night, like they're gonna come watch our show because they do you
Yeah.
know weekend
Showcase.
shows at UCB and all these different
Yeah.
improv clubs in LA, and then they just come in, and Chicago too is the other big like
yeah,
improv
that's where
comedy.
I think that's where Adam Sandler came out of was Chicago.
Yep.
Stephen Colbert come out of Chicago?
I think he was Oh no, maybe you're right, Chicago. Yeah.
He talks
Chicago's a
about it.
big improv city.
Yeah. Conan talks about how he did Second City classes with Lisa Kudrow of all people.
Yeah.
If you can
Really?
believe it. Yeah,
Well-
him and she was like his first friend in the city.
Well, because
Yeah.
she didn't get like
Famous until friends.
she was giving up.
Yeah,
All of her
totally.
interviews are so interesting.
Yeah.
When she
Well,
talks about that.
And like Jimmy Fallon talks about going and auditioning. He auditioned twice for SNL.
Oh,
Yep.
his audition tape
And-
is pretty funny.
And
Yeah, it's
the
pretty good.
second time, he literally thought for sure because it had been a month that he flew home to
Yeah.
LA. He'd like given up. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, they're never gonna call me. And then Lauren was like in LA for something, like called him and was like, hey, do you want to like, yeah, you have the
You wanna
job.
join?
We're gonna. How do you? He asked him,
Were you,
are you willing to wear wigs? And he's like, I I'm not wearing a wig. He's like, no, but I mean, like, you're on the show, so you're cool with wearing wigs.
Well,
He was
you're
like,
gonna
such
come
a
to New York
random-
and be
he
on the
literally was like,
show.
That's
oh,
such a
I got the
random
job. I didn't even know.
That's
He's
a
like,
random
yeah.
question.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I don't know.
But
You're willing to wear
Dax
wigs,
Shepard and
right?
Melissa McCarthy were in the Growlings together. They were in the same, they were in the same
Yeah.
class at the Growlings. Like
I listened to that episode of
Armchair Expert. It's just so interesting to see that kind of like
I think
look inward to that whole
The world is
the
so
comedy world. It seems like it's so
fascinating to
easy
me.
and that like people, especially nowadays, it's like, oh, you just post, funny TikToks with your characters you make up and then you like make it big. But like the reality is there's such a like
Yeah.
stepping stone and an order in which you get to the places
And
you
just
need to be.
different types of comedy. Like if you want to do
Oh,
improv,
yeah.
that's such a different.
well, let's be honest. You can make money from home now. These TikTokers, they don't have to leave
yeah.
their house. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I freaked out this weekend because they put that's my piano. In one of the sketches was they used like a page at NBC. The pages are like the little
Yeah.
guys in suits that are like
Front desk.
Yeah, work at the front desk. And it's a guy that I watch on TikTok. And they were like, "Oh, like you crazy, like you're our favorite page." It was like Kyle Mooney was like, "Oh, you're our favorite page, John." And he's like, "Oh, thanks." And it was just like a little moving
was
thing,
so
and
small.
I freaked out. I was like,
He was like,
I
"That
send
guy,
that
that
I send
guy."
that guy's TikToks to Olivia like all the time because he does like funny, like weird voices. I'll show you
like
after,
that's the reality,
after
right?
the
And
podcast, but-
most of the people who end up auditioning or like end up moving on like have been writers on SNL because they weren't like not necessarily
Yep.
that they weren't good enough, but like
Yep.
they like had them kind of like troubleshoot and just were in the writers
Yes.
room before they let them audition or whatever. You know, it's just crazy to how many people have had like their hands in SNL
yeah,
yeah.
and then have gone on to do completely
Yep.
different things that like we've like heard about them being famous for later.
I think where SNL breaks down is it came on the scene in a world where like the internet like didn't exist.
like
Yeah.
television was king.
so like the way that it's so fast paced and it's edgy and it's funny, like that used to be such a stark difference than TV
Yep.
was, and now we have the internet where it's like the internet's almost faster and things like get ran through the system so quick. Like something could be popular on a Monday and it could be completely dead on a Friday. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yep.
that's where
Yeah.
like that's where SNL there's not really like an environment anymore where it's like the next best thing, because
And
I think it's
also-
cool that like they put a show together in a week, and I think that is really cool, but at the same time like everybody's doing that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
like it's
SNL
not cool
used
anymore.
to be the ones that were pushing the limits of
Yeah.
TV, and now it's like you got all the stations that are like FX, which is like FX is very like out there, and like other stations that are like allowed to do different things.
Yeah.
And now it's like SNL. There's
I think it's controversial, but I think it would. I don't think they'll do this, but I think their best bet is to like stop at 50. They just celebrated
Yeah.
45. Stop
Yeah.
at 50 and let it be what it was, because it's. I love SNL. I think the history of it's cool. I don't know. Like I said, I don't necessarily agree with I agree with you. The content's kind of today.
it's become pretty mainstream.
Yeah, but I think like the history and how cool it is so cool. And it's natural to say like, well, let's keep it going because that's what we do every day,
Yeah.
all the time now. Like think about You, that Netflix series.
Yep.
It was really good, and then they just keep making more and more seasons. It's like the more and more you do it, you're like you're taking the magic away.
So the most recent season is bad. Is that
Oh,
what you're saying?
I still love it.
I never watched that show.
I still think it's
it
good.
gets a little out there. I liked the premise of it a lot.
The first two
and-
were really good. The third
But
one they did
the
switch
third
it
one
up.
was good, but now we're getting, and I know they're gonna make a fourth, but based on
Yeah.
the way it ended, and I feel like we're kind of getting away from like that initial.
What made the show
Yeah,
good?
because I could watch the first season. I'm the kind of person that likes to, when I find a good show, I watch it over and over. Like New Girl, The Office, The Community. I watch
Yeah.
that all. I watch those episodes all the time in the background while I'm doing stuff. And I think you could have, season 1, even season 2 could have been like, okay, that's good. Like I could rewatch that.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
It's because
Really?
season 1 and 2 both had the same story plot,
Yes.
but different people.
it
So then they had to change
crazier and
it.
crazier. The threshold goes further and further, and then it's like, because what I liked about season 1 and a lot of these new Netflix shows is they really bring a lot of a good element of reality to it, where you're like, yeah, it's a little crazy, but like, hey, like,
Realistic.
you never know.
Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Never.
Oh my gosh,
I
you
need
need to
to,
watch
probably,
that.
huh?
That is the greatest show of all time.
I agree.
See, I've heard really good things about it.
You just gotta watch it.
All right, I'll watch it. But
Done.
you know what I'm saying though, like
Get a new show, bro. Stop watching old shows.
for SNL, I think my opinion is like they need to let it be what it was. And obviously ending on season 47 is probably not a good idea. Make it to 50, I think, but then I think just let it be what it was. Because Lauren's leaving at 50, I heard.
So what's the next thing?
Oh.
I feel like I asked this on the show
I don't
quite a bit.
know.
What's the next thing? Maybe not in comedy, maybe not in entertainment. What's next, you think?
It's tough.
We're coming
It's
to
hard because
the close of a year.
We also
right?
took like a giant step back with COVID. So
But did we though,
I
or
don't
did we
think
take
so.
a strategic step forward?
I think maybe society
That's what I'm
took
getting
a
at.
we paused.
adaptive stuff.
But it almost was like we upgraded, like when you have to
So,
update your phone, but
We're getting
it
deeper
stops
into
for like
the
25 minutes.
2020s, right?
Yeah.
The decade is moving on. We've established that this decade's gonna suck. So what's next?
Oh, that's right.
What's
2020
coming?
was the start of a new decade. Thanks.
We've established that.
Sucks.
So I don't know. What's coming down the pipe? What's interesting?
I think
coffee.
What a great
Coffee's always
transition.
interesting.
well,
What a great transition.
I don't know. I mean,
Fashion.
it's hard because what I like about the internet right now is that you can be in completely separate worlds. It's like good and bad. Like nobody, like you can go viral on like one thing, but you also can then get an audience and like be in your own little community, which is really cool. And it connects people in a lot of ways. I don't think it's going to change fame as we know it, right? Because there are going to be like fame levels now. I feel like where you're like, you're in like a big blockbuster. That's probably like the highest level of fame is when you're like world renowned.
You're talking about
Well,
movies.
there's going to be like
Like
middle
The Rock
class.
and all like Kevin Hart, like all those guys are like.
I think he's had his day.
There's
The
going to
Rock.
be there's going to be like a middle class of fame.
Yeah, it's
That is that is going to be
famous
TikTok. That's
class
the
of-
page. It's the
C-list
people
celebrities.
Seriously.
the people who have full-time jobs and then create content on the side.
I think you're going to
And
see
then
those.
they're going to be famous within a significantly large group,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like not to the extent where if you say their name, someone's going to know.
You're going to see those
Gotcha.
like class levels kind of become bigger and more known, right? It's like
Yeah.
And I don't know.
We did live through like the internet celebrity thing where that was like such a separate
Yeah.
entity, right? Remember, like, I immediately go to like Fred.
Oh my gosh, I saw a couple of his TikToks.
Like
He had a Nickelodeon
when
show.
it was the kid with the high pitched voice,
Yep.
and it was like a dude, but he was like pretending to be a little boy, right?
And he was like
Fred. He had this.
he was like scrubbing it to high speed.
Yeah.
All his videos.
So there was something like that, like the internet celebrity, and to what Annie's saying is like the lines between internet celebrity and celebrity
celebrity.
are blurring
yeah.
because
Yeah.
everybody's using the same platform now.
Yeah.
Well, and then the reality is like I'm seeing, the TikTokers that are kind of like even the TikTokers I like, not the like insane famous ones, are going to the red carpets and are going to, all this stuff. And I'm
Sure.
like,
Yes.
okay, like
Yeah.
they're becoming celebrities, but almost on this more like touchable level. That sounds weird. It's like, but I also think that the content they're creating, for the most part, it's not a movie where it's like you're immersing yourself in their world. They're immersing themselves in your world.
Yes.
Like it's a personal thing. So when you see like there's this one guy named Zachariah that I follow on TikTok and I love his videos. He makes all these characters and he just has all these like hilarious bits and I love him. But he's the one that I sent you that TikTok where he's like, I don't like the idea of my loved ones looking down on me from heaven. They don't need to see everything I'm
Yes,
doing.
yes.
Like he just has these like
That's pretty funny.
right? And he just has like all these hilarious comments on things. And he like made some video that kind of was alluding to like bigger projects that he's working on. And I was like, man, like if I saw him on like the news or something, I would feel weird because I feel like I have this relationship with him where I watch
Yes.
this thing that it's like so tailored to me and my comedy that if I saw him, I'm like, oh, you and I hang out.
Would
a
that be
lot.
like him selling out, or
I don't know.
would it be
I
like,
feel
oh, good for him, he
follow-
built his own?
Has anyone seen
fame.
that Anna girl?
Yeah.
So she started. And
Oh, yeah.
She dating Brew.
I don't know.
I know
who
she
she's
started. She
dating.
started dating some guy. I saw a
She-
thing today
she
where
had this
he
relationship.
interviewed the Spider-Man people.
Yes.
Oh my
where-
gosh.
So they
follow her.
literally. Yes,
Yeah.
This girl.
I don't know
Anna
what
like
you guys are talking
Anna
about.
like cursed.
Brew on the
Yeah.
radio. He's
She-
like the TikTok
have no
radio
idea.
host guy.
So she literally had her whole thing was she
7-year
went on
relationship.
and she had a huge relationship. Literally
Okay.
everyone thought they were getting married.
Okay.
It was long
she would
distance.
make all these
I knew
videos
it
about being
wasn't.
long
when
distance.
they moved back like when they were in the same city, literally like a month later, she posted like
They broke
her
up.
crying, like breaking up. And then literally a month and a half later, she's with this new guy. And now I feel like she's a completely new, like,
person.
I think
Like,
it was longer
now
than
she's
a
like-
month.
Yeah, it was a
She
while.
was single
There's-
for a while.
But then it was
They
the
were
like
hiding it from us for a long
yeah.
time.
Then it was
too.
like the hinting that she was with
Yeah.
someone.
His last name
and-
is Brew, but he goes by Brew.
Okay.
And so on Halloween, she posted she was a barista, and he walked by. There was this guy that walked by in front of the camera, and his shirt said "cold,"
yep.
and he was
Cold brew.
Yeah.
And so everyone was like freaking out, like, "Oh, it's Brew from
Yep.
Radio TikTok or whatever." And it was, and then they just recently. But I was funny is I was gonna bring that up because when she like posted about them being together,
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, oh my, I remember like my mood changing and being like, what? Why am I so happy for them? Like this random people, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
See, I saw it as this girl is now all like the fame is going to her head.
Oh really?
Yeah, because now
Oh.
it's like she was in the limelight, but she was still like a normal girl. And then when they started dating, all of her TikToks have now turned into her being in like super fancy dresses, going to
Well, that's
events.
like-
Is it the Emma Chamberlain effect? Is
Well,
that
yeah,
what it
Emma
is?
Chamberlain
Little
had that
bit.
same
Yeah,
thing.
it is.
Yeah.
Emma
You
Chamberlain
build your-
used to make YouTube videos about trying on her 6-year-old clothes and how they don't fit, and then all of a sudden the next YouTube video she's like in a
Gucci.
Porsche in LA.
You build your
Yeah.
audience based
Yes.
on, or you build up your audience based
It
on
changes.
who you are, and then you change who you are because you
Yes.
Well,
get your
even
audience.
David
right?
Dobrik, his original videos
Who?
are him in some like
Who?
ghetto in like some ghetto apartment with all of his friends, and now they're all in mansions, you
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
driving limos around,
It's all
private planes to Vegas.
The Vine kids, they all moved into the Vine apartments in Hollywood.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. It's weird though, right? You're right. Like I follow people on TikTok and they change, and you're like,
But
Emma
isn't that-
Chamberlain was the same thing. I watched Emma Chamberlain when she was still in her parents' house. Like
Yeah.
she wasn't even in LA, and then when she moved to LA, I was like, I can't. Like
Yeah.
I got over it real quick. I was like, I'm not into this.
I
anymore.
still watch her videos that are like literally the more low key, like thrift with me, like those kind of.
She
like
can
the
literally post a
OG
video of her
ones.
just like talking into the camera for an hour or for like 10
Yeah.
minutes, and it gets 5 million views in,
Yep.
like
in a
2
day.
days.
Yep.
Yep.
Crazy.
But here's the thing too. I used to watch Emma Chamberlain, and then she had some video
Back in the
about
day.
back in the day, and then when she was starting to get into LA, she had some video about like going to the Louis Vuitton store and buying whatever she wanted, whatever. And I was like, whatever, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
And then she had a sound blow up on TikTok this year, and it was like the whole, no one ever wants to hang out with me. Well, I guess I never ask anyone to hang out.
Yes.
So that's like,
Yes.
that's on me.
I
Like
watched
her
that
kind of
video.
calling herself out. And I was like, who is this? That's such a good sound. And I clicked and it was Emma Chamberlain. And I was like, oh my God, she's still around? Like, what the heck? And so I kind of like recapped on her life.
It's the chicken and the egg thing, right? Like the platform develops a culture, and then the culture develops a new following who revolutionize the platform, which
Yeah.
drives away the old platform culture. You know, it's like, so who cares, right? It's always
Right.
changing. It's always adapting.
Yep.
But then like
Is anything like authentic anymore? Or then, because then people will just go, oh, I understand TikTok now. And then they do it, and then they get millions of followers.
Well, I think you have to keep changing, right? Because like I used to, when I was in my YouTube days, I watched a lot of British YouTubers, and
Really?
Zoella and Alfie. And Zoella was a makeup tutorial person, and Alfie was just like some kind of like vlog comedy, you know, whatever. They would do those stupid, like the old YouTube videos of like, we are gonna do Chubby Bunny and like do just
good.
random crap with each other, you know. And they just recently, they've been dating as long as I can remember, but they just recently had a kid. And I was like, whatever happened to them? And I looked up and they're still together and they have a kid. And I just like had this moment where I was kind of like,
Yeah.
wow, I used to like watch their lives
Yes.
happen, and their lives just kept going.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, and no one really knew about them anymore because they just kind of kept going the same way that
Yep.
they were living their
Yep.
lives, and they weren't upping this like
Yep.
the antics.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess almost to a degree, like if you want to stay relevant in those realms, like you have to kind of evolve and
You
change.
got to do it because you know,
You kinda
or you'll
gotta
get-
sell
or you'll
out.
get left behind. I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
Or else you can just have a normal life.
Sometimes I
know.
to take a
And
step
who wants
further,
that?
to take a
Uh-huh.
step further, I sometimes spiral on the fact that like we will probably be alive when the Jonas Brothers die. You know what I'm saying? Like
no,
that.
I'm gonna.
No, I'm gonna die way before them.
No.
I'm kicking the bucket before
you know what
Nick
I'm
ever
saying?
even
Those guys will
touches
live
it.
forever.
Isn't that weird to think
Yeah.
that like the Jonas
Joe
Brothers were
Jonas
huge when we were
dead at
when we were
84.
kids?
Well, they're not that much older than us.
They're
Yeah.
in their 30s,
Dude.
aren't they?
Yeah.
How bad are you
Nick
gonna
is,
feel
like,
when
29?
the 3 of them die in like a car crash tomorrow? How bad will
I
you
won't
feel?
actually feel anything. So.
I saw
I haven't felt anything for years. Let me just tell you.
Okay.
meme depression.
Depressed
See,
me, be
listen,
like sad. That's Pete Davidson.
I haven't felt anything in
I-
years.
I want to bring something up too.
Are you
it's-
going to change the subject? Because go
Yeah,
ahead,
is that
please.
okay? Is
No,
it
that's
gonna be
fine.
about death?
Go
viral
ahead,
stuff.
go ahead.
Okay, fine, fine.
We're just dating ourselves. We're like,
Yeah, I
remember
know.
old
Oh,
YouTube?
It's viral and it's also Christmas, so it's
Ugh,
good.
fine.
Viral,
what?
like the
Like just
Like a
things
disease?
that are going viral.
pop. Oh,
Like a venereal
Christmas
disease.
viral.
go ahead.
Right?
Go ahead, please.
Right? Is that right?
Things that are going viral.
Right? Yeah.
Talking about coronavirus,
Okay. All right. Anyways,
Omicron.
no. I was talking about Elf on the Shelf. Have you been seeing all of these Elf on
I
the Shelf?
still don't understand
How extreme they're getting?
what Elf on the Shelf is.
Okay.
I do not
Kara,
understand
Elf
what
on the
it
let's
is.
Shelf
educate you.
Is
Jeez.
a little guy.
Like, is it
He's
like a
one
Sour
right here.
Patch Kid?
No.
I literally
We
have
missed
seen
out.
Okay,
like
so-
that it does crazy
yeah.
things in
Did
the
you
night.
You guys didn't do this, right?
No, it was a thing
No.
after we were
There,
kids.
there's a mom that I work with, and her kids are obsessed. She's like, every day we're up until 4 a.m, and so basically it's this thing. It's
a little elf.
just a little elf on
I've
the
seen-
shelf,
yeah,
right?
I've seen it.
And
Have you seen it?
and every day leading up to Christmas, it's like in the night the elf can move around and do stuff, but during the day it's frozen.
So the idea is that every night the elf goes and tells Santa what you were up to. So it's to watch you. It's to
Which is
watch you.
creepy as
It's
So
to
creepy.
watch you and make sure you're good
There's
the
gonna be a
month
scary
leading
movie
up
about
to
Elf on the
Christmas.
Shelf.
That's
soon.
pretty
What's
smart.
that?
And
Oh,
so
I hope so.
it came
I hope
as a
so.
scare tactic that
generation.
parents made to be like,
Like,
the
hey,
elf,
look,
the
that-
elf is gonna tell Santa you better be good because you know
It's
so
like
and
one-
so
So
is
then
watching.
why did the elf do like bad
Because
stuff
people
in the
get
night?
like weird, like
Because
not
the
weird, like
idea
they
is
just
to
have
make
fun.
it seem real, like leprechauns. Remember leprechaun traps when you were in?
Yes.
You know, it's like that. Where it's like your
Leprechaun
teacher
trap.
definitely.
I don't know
Your
that.
teacher definitely
I don't
when
know that.
you came to
Oh,
when
yeah,
you
went
left
to Christian
school.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's a leprechaun?
I went to Catholic school and we did leprechauns.
Yeah, but the
But that's 'cause the
Catholics and the
Catholics
Celtics are like this.
Yeah,
they
they're like-
believe
That's
that
right.
stuff. They're
That's
like
right.
Jesus and leprechauns.
That's right.
Jesus.
That's the only
leprechauns.
The
only
Pope-
magical
That's it.
beings.
And that is
Jesus and leprechauns.
The
Just drop
Pope and
it all.
leprechauns,
and
they're like
dragons.
this.
And dragons too.
Don't even bring up the Easter Bunny. It's
No.
John Paul
no,
II
not real.
loved leprechauns.
He rode a dragon actually. No, but like the tooth fairy, right?
Yeah,
When the
so
tooth
it's like-
fairy leave a little
Well,
note.
I can't
and
remember
then-
if it was a mom on Facebook or TikTok or whatever, but I saw one of like, I think it was a TikTok of her going in the night and cutting her kids' pajamas, like holes in
yeah,
her pajamas.
that's what I'm saying. Is
So now,
parents are
so
taking
people
it way
get
too far.
crazy. I saw one
Is that
where
because
like
they like the kids were bad that day?
no, it's because the parents like hate their lives and
they
they need
just
a
think
little
they're
bit
funny.
of joy, like a little shred of
Yeah.
So it's like when the kids are bad, like I saw one where the elf was like pooping on the kids.
Yeah, I saw that, and they-
like
she
they put
made-
little Hershey
She
kisses
put
everywhere.
chocolate,
Yeah,
and then they put chocolate on the butt, and the kid was like, "Oh my gosh, it ate something." She goes, "That's on its butt. Like, what did you find?" And he goes, "His food. He put his food here." And the mom was like, "I think he pooped on you." And I was like, "How traumatizing!"
It's so traumatizing.
Wait, I saw one where the mom, and it looked fake, which maybe it will.
Yep.
But she literally dressed her kid as Elf on the Shelf.
Oh yeah, when it was sleeping.
She like put it like in an Elf on the Shelf, and then it was like, then she put like him on the shelf, and it said like,
You're
nice
the
outfit.
elf now.
That's creepy.
Yeah, weird.
Ew, what
and then
the
I also,
heck?
what's crazy is I was on, you know how Facebook Marketplace,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like it sells all this weird stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I saw Elf on the Shelf shirts. Like they sell like Christmas sweaters and little accessories for Elf on the Shelf.
you
Oh
see
yeah,
It's
it's
blown
huge.
up. You can
What?
buy him a reindeer. You can buy a female elf.
Oh,
you
you're
can-
talking about a little outfit for the little elf?
Yeah, like somebody on Etsy's like making that stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a
did
shop
you-
that makes Elf on the Shelf accessories that you can buy.
So
We're
in
in
a
the
little
wrong
show,
freaking business, bro. We
I
should
know.
be selling elves.
in a little show called Traditions of Christmas.
Yeah.
The last
Whoa.
one,
Go ahead.
freaking Noah
Okay.
was.
You talking about
the
Noah
elf on,
Philly?
There's a whole Elf on the Shelf number.
Wow.
Where
And
he's dancing around. And
yes,
he was,
Noah
okay, so
Philly
you know,
was
so you
the
know
elf on
what-
the shelf.
So you know what we're talking
I didn't
about.
know what they did.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
so the
tiny
whole
little
idea-
guy.
It was
But
so
like,
like,
like, what's the like story behind it? The story is
I
that
always thought it was like a cute
it's,
doll that
it's
you. It's
Santa's
like just a
elves. They've
decoration.
already
really
they've already
creepy.
created the presents, and now Santa has his elves go into the homes to make sure the
I
kids are
think
good to get the presents that
We
year.
should get ahead of the world here, and I think we should start writing an Elf on the Shelf scary movie that is to come out in about 18 years when
all these Elf on the Shelf kids are older.
Yeah, in their 20s.
No, I mean,
But you,
how creepy
Okay.
is
their
that?
20s.
Well, here's
we
the
gotta
thing. Elf on
tap
the
into
Shelf
it.
kid
We got
right
like 5
now.
years. Yeah,
5-10 years.
The oldest
We
Elf
gotta
on the
make this
Shelf
movie
kid
now.
that I've seen
Yeah.
is like 13.
Yeah. So the kids I used to nanny who live next door, they did it, and I remember helping their mom do it. And the oldest is 13 now, But here's the thing that
So, yeah,
about
10
it
years is good.
is I remember making a fake package from Santa, and the whole idea is the kid can't touch the elf because if you touch it, his magic goes away and he can't go home and tell
So
Santa.
That's why
So
they
you-
can't
You
move
basically
So they
it.
kill
can't
it if you
move it.
touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is
You basically murder a
You
little
make it a
elf.
human. Essentially, has to stay here now.
I'm talking.
Yeah.
Hey.
all it's magic.
Yes, but I'm
Because
speaking.
I saw
Hey,
another
I'm
TikTok.
speaking.
I'm talking about Christmas magic. So
sorry,
respectfully,
Go ahead.
Sorry.
You know what? You know what she's
you know
gonna
what I'm
say.
saying.
Christmas.
But I made like a fake care package from Santa that was basically had like glitter in it and all this stuff, and it was like, my elf is low on magic. I need you to like sprinkle this on him, and I like printed out some cursive font or whatever and wrote a letter to the boys about it, and the joy and like pure excitement of them being like, oh, Santa needs our help and like our elf and we need to help, and like the little boy who was
And how
he
old
was
are,
like-
how old are these kids?
He's
they're
16.
now 25.
That kid was
respectfully 35.
Well, he's not a kid anymore. He's 18. Yeah.
But they're 13 now. But I did it when they were like 5 and 4 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Like they were
Okay,
little.
sure.
And
This was a thing.
and they
way
were
back
like
then?
so excited,
Yeah,
and I
it's
will
been
never
around for a
forget
long
the
time.
older one. The younger one was sprinkling the glitter, and the older one's like, "Do not touch him! If you touch him, he will lose his magic. You're too close. You're too close." And like was so serious about it. But the like joy of helping Santa, like that was special, and I was like, okay, I get it more.
I want to tell you something that I saw.
I'm gonna do a big disclaimer real quick.
Go ahead.
If you are, if you love Christmas,
If you love Christmas,
just stop.
If you're under
listening
the
right
age
now.
of
no
15.
age. Just if you love Christmas, if you love Santa, just stop watching right now.
What I'll say.
after we've said all
Oh,
this.
we tell us.
When do you guys? When did you
yeah,
stop
yeah,
believing
yeah.
in Santa Claus? Did we talk about that already?
Oh,
I don't think we
no.
did.
What
No.
age did you stop believing in Santa Claus?
I don't remember
Second
what age
grade.
it was, but I remember how
Or
I found
I should
out.
say, were
Second
you?
grade.
Did you realize that Santa Claus
so
is
early.
a?
I remember
not
how
real.
my
Yeah.
parents never they eventually told me, but I figured it out. I don't remember what age I was though.
I sat my mom
parents
down.
my parents still put packages as from Santa.
Oh yeah, my mom
my mom
does
does
too.
too.
Right,
but-
kind of fun.
Yeah,
I distinctly remember having a conversation.
I can't wait. Go ahead.
Not like Santa's not real, but like it was one year of being like, I don't know if Santa was ever real in my house. I think at
It was
some
always
point,
kind of
my
like
parents
a-
were like, listen, like we want the credit.
Oh,
For
yeah.
the presents. They're like, yeah, Santa doesn't
Yep.
get the credit. Like, we worked for these
Yeah.
presents to
Yeah.
have, like, we put on this Merry Christmas for you. So
I saw a
what
You
do
post-
you
never
think?
you never said thanks, Santa.
Not in like a like Santa's not real. Like we bought you these presents, but
Yeah,
like it was
but,
like,
like, hey.
hey,
Listen,
listen, kid. Like people
Sit
believe
down.
in Santa.
like thank me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you the presents.
Yeah, I saw a post today, and I was like, "Ooh, that's actually a really good thing to think about." Like talking on privilege of it was this post saying like, "Hey, don't put the iPad from Santa, and don't put the like iWatch or the iPhone or the like."
To a child, you mean?
Yeah, like don't say all this is from Santa, because there's some kids where their gift from Santa is like one little thing. And when you go
Yeah,
to school and the one kid's like, Santa brought me
An
an
iPhone.
iPhone. Oh
It's like,
yeah,
but I was
Santa bought
just
me
as
a yo-yo.
good.
Like
How do you
Right.
How do
And
you
they're
feel
like-
about people like and sometimes it's religious families that just like from the get go just Santa's not real, and they
Get out.
tell their
I think.
kids like
Get out.
Santa's
Yeah.
not real.
Get out.
When you go to
And
school, don't
get
run
out.
with other
And disclaimer,
kids,
it
but,
wasn't.
like,
It wasn't like I said. It was not
Does-
like an unfun
Does
thing that
anybody
Santa wasn't
do
real.
that?
yeah,
I know
there
people,
are people who hate
I know
happiness.
people that do that, and I'll tell you when we're off air.
And let me tell
Oh, yeah.
you,
Dang, I'm
people.
gonna say their name.
Let me tell you,
Dan
you're
and
ruining
Laura
it.
Albright.
So it got really hard in my family because of the
Age.
siblings thing, because of the big age gap between me and Noah.
That's
and
my
then Emma.
sister-
So like
yeah.
when
Yeah,
I was
people
getting
with magic.
older, and I was like, oh, Santa's handwriting is the same as mom's. That was literally like fifth
geez,
grade.
Karen.
So you busted the.
So that's how I did
Well,
it.
I never
too.
said it. I never said anything. I just went with
okay.
it.
Okay.
I said
But
it.
Respect,
then,
respect.
but then it was like years where it was like, oh, thanks Santa, and I'd look at my mom and be like,
The year
just like a
before
little thank you.
so it really went on a long time in your
oh,
house.
it
It still
I
does.
think
Yeah, because
Noah,
believes.
Noah
what's the
still
age gap?
doesn't know. It's actually really sad. we
Noah-
want to
Noah
talk
actually
about it,
thinks-
but we don't. We just he has so much
So
joy
I
when we
think-
talk about it.
I
He
think
just loves
I think Emma found out about it because there was one year where I was helping Mom do her Tooth Fairy stuff, and
Okay,
we
sure.
ran.
Which
we
was
ran
also that was a big
out
thing in
of-
my family too.
We ran out of cash, so we wrapped the quarters in tinfoil and put glitter all over it. And Emma the next morning literally was like, "I heard you wrapping it." And I think from there she
Loser.
deduced like
There's no magic in the world
there's no Tooth Fairy.
Isn't it
that
kind
we
of
can
saddest thing?
calculate.
But
Yeah.
it never came to like Santa's not real. Like literally every Christmas we'll still be like, thanks,
for
Santa.
me, none of that was like really. I mean, my parents were very much Santa did it, and there were some years where they really they got good
Into
like,
it.
Would like they would
got
have
good at
someone else wrap it and something. Because my
Yeah.
thing is, I figured it out, right? Like
Sure.
I remember sitting my mom down in second grade and being like, "Mom, sit down," and we were
Let's
in
have a talk.
we were in Colorado,
Little tiny
and I
Eddie.
remember not looking
Wait,
at
can
her.
we just like role play this really quick?
Yeah, Carrie, you're my mom.
Okay.
I'm like, Mom, sit down. And I'm not looking at her. I'm just going, now tell me the truth. I'm not going to be upset. But
Kara, you got to be Annie's mom. Go ahead.
You're not looking at me. You're looking straight too because she's
There's no
scared.
lines yet. There's
She
no
knows.
lines yet.
She
There's no
knows it's
lines.
coming. It's November 30th.
And I said, just tell me the truth. You and Santa use the same wrapping paper.
What do you mean?
I go, and you have to say, Mom, like it's your handwriting when you write Santa. Yeah. And then she just went, I said, Santa's not real, is he? And she just went,
Yeah, it's not
Yes.
real.
Yeah,
and I said,
he's not real. It's me.
okay. And then she goes,
It's me and your father.
it's me and your father.
This
It's
was
me
an
and your
upstate
father.
New York.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
yeah.
Me and your father.
Me and
we
your
put on-
father
No, this is
was
Boston.
Santa. Okay, you got it, Annie.
Now,
No,
let's
but
go,
then she
figure
just
it out.
let's go
she
get in
asked
the
me.
car and go to the mall.
She asked me. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I remember being like, "Yeah, if you can just leave me alone for a little bit." And she just like was like, "Okay," and she like got off the couch.
Win.
Poor
And
little
I just like
Annie.
I was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, you can
like,
just leave me alone."
for a little bit.
I'm kind of
No,
betrayed.
let's be honest. I mean, for me, it was pretty sad when you find out.
Well, see, I never believed in like the Easter
Not
Bunny.
you didn't care.
I was like,
What?
do we still get the presents?
Because like the way that
presents are
Easter,
coming.
Are we still getting presents?
the way that
Yeah,
Easter
that's cool,
worked
that's
for
cool,
us is we were at the desert, and so what it was you would watch the night before. All the adults would stuff the eggs together,
Set
so
'em
they
on
would
fire and
be.
throw 'em out
They
into
would
the-
be like, "Hey, you can't come into the house because we're stuffing the eggs." Like they would
the egg
tell
hunt.
you. And then the next morning, they're like, "Hey, the Easter Bunny's hiding the eggs, so all the kids have to stay in their motorhomes." And so then then like all the adults would be outside, and like it was
Hold
never.
on.
Freaking
Hold on,
phone
hold
back
on.
up. So every Easter, you and all the other motorhomes were out in the desert, and all of the parents would hide the eggs just out in
Oh
the
well,
desert.
okay, yeah.
Probably
Well,
drunk,
here's the
too,
thing,
right? I mean, they were
oh,
probably
definitely.
all,
I mean, this is the same crew
So
that
then-
did tree races. So does tree races, I should say.
does still does
It's a
that.
little different, but okay.
No, for sure.
But they so like me being competitive as hell,
Yeah,
I
of
would
course.
watch from the top bunk with the window open to see where they were hiding the eggs because advantage.
It's a
Right, of
desert,
court,
so it
of
can't
course.
be that hard to find.
Well, yeah, it
Behind
was
the
like, well,
cactus.
here's the thing, right? And then one year they were like, we're gonna make it
buried 'em.
fair.
We put
well,
some eggs
here's
in a
the
tumbleweed.
thing. There's one year they want to make it fair, right? So
Yes.
then I decided I go, okay, like Grandpa, you can hide my eggs. That man bought eggs that like were camouflaged as rocks. And he made it
No
so
way.
hard. I found one like 3 years ago. This happened when I was a legit
No
child.
way.
And I found one like not too long ago and I was like, you're kidding me. He like stuck one inside of the rim of a tire. And then it took like 3 hours for them to get it out because then he was like, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't drive with that in there. Someone might want to get that. And like 3 like grown adult males had to like try to get those out.
What on
Yeah,
earth?
so that was the end of fair. Be smarter and look out the window, idiots.
My dad used to have
Stupid.
for the Easter Bunny. He used to have this. It was like a cutout of a foot, and he'd buy like this powdery solution. And on Easter morning, he would go outside and he would like stamp
Yeah.
like where the Easter Bunny
Oh my
would
gosh,
come up to the
your
door.
Dad's a real one.
But he would stop it right on the street in front of our house and it would
Yeah.
disappear and
How'd you know?
you can only see it because you believe. And then literally the year that like everything started changing, he stopped doing it.
the year that everything started changing.
He's like,
Oh,
yeah. So like,
period.
so for me, the Santa thing, I had already, like the Tooth Fairy. I knew my parents did it because they just weren't sly. And
Right.
then when I would wake up in the morning and there wasn't money, I'd march into their room and it was like, hey, yo, the Tooth
Yo,
Fairy forgot
hey,
my
yo.
cash. And my dad would
Where's
be like,
my cash?
my dad would be like, go lay down. I'm sure she's coming. And then my dad one year went in and was like pretending to make like wing sounds. It was like, and like,
So good.
and like
So
so
good.
aggressively like moves the pillow, slaps the
Shoves
cash down.
shoves you off the bed. Oh, sorry.
And then he kissed my forehead. The man's got a grown, like a full beard,
beard.
has always had a beard. So he kissed my forehead, and that's when I was like, officially, no Tooth Fairy.
I love
Got
that.
it.
Go
Yeah.
back to bed. Baby, he'll come in a little bit. And then
Yes. Yep.
he's like,
I remember
we gotta
one
really
year.
make this work.
One year, the Tooth Fairy left me a teeny tiny note, and I think by this point,
was like, Ryan,
I knew
stop.
there wasn't a Tooth
Like,
Fairy,
Ryan, you're 18.
but I saw the tiny note.
Ryan, your wisdom teeth
Okay,
don't
screw you
count.
guys. Like, I found these teeth at home. Like,
You can't get
like
seconds.
I knew the Tooth Fairy wasn't real, but I couldn't comprehend like how the writing was so small. I was like, maybe it is real. Like maybe there is a Tooth Fairy.
That's what I'm saying with Santa. There's been a couple times after the fact I
right.
found out Santa wasn't real, where my mom really put in effort, and I was like,
Did you guys leave?
maybe.
You left cookies for Santa,
Oh.
obviously. Did you leave carrots for the reindeer?
Yeah.
We did that
Yeah.
too.
We did.
Listen.
Yeah.
Not every year.
Those guys get hungry. Those
My-
guys get
they're-
hungry.
They're the
Yeah.
ones doing all the freaking work.
So
Oh,
there's
really?
there's this ongoing.
Really, Santa's not.
Yes. There's no motorized
Okay,
sleigh
how
like
much
in Santa
prep work?
Claus.
Wait. How much prep work do you think
Whoa.
that these reindeer are doing? Like
What do you
none.
mean?
Are they
Who's
doing
working?
training?
Santa is working all year.
They do flight training. All of the
no,
other
they
reindeer.
do not. They're magic.
Wait.
It's just the same 8 guys. And all of the
Wait,
other reindeer
okay,
was a dog.
You think
All
that
the
it's
other
the
reindeer was a
same
dog.
8? They haven't have like it's not like
Oh, you think it's like a
Prancer
title?
like 3. They're on like
Prancer
at least
3.
Prancer 45 at this
Okay,
point.
how many? Okay, so is it the
It's
Santa
the
Claus
lineage.
rules?
It's the lineage.
I hadn't considered that. It's got to be the Santa Claus rules, right? Because Santa dies and then the
I
new
have-
Santa comes.
So I've decided
Allen.
that the Santa Claus,
Tim Allen.
in my mind, the Santa Claus, that is how Santa works.
Accurate.
That
makes
is
sense.
that is the one because
That
the
makes
rest of
sense to me.
them, the rest of them are just like too much. Like that answers the most questions, and I go, that's it. Tim Allen, you've unlocked the key. You are Santa.
Okay, so obviously Christmas is a lie because capitalism. Listen to me.
Amen.
What about like dragons? Do you think dragons are real?
No.
No, because of dinosaurs. If we know that dinosaurs are so real,
How many
then why
dinosaurs-
wouldn't we
It's
kn-
got
Yeah.
an answer for everything.
That's what I'm
I
saying. How
legit
little
thought
know-
Kara.
answers for
I
everything.
thought Kara was about to be.
And that's a good answer, actually.
I thought Kara was about to be like, no, because of dinosaurs, and we know dinosaurs aren't real. So, and I was,
because
just
we
gonna
have-
be
No,
like,
listen to me.
respectfully,
We have so
I gotta
many
go.
All we
fossils.
know about dinosaurs is the bones.
Right.
For all we know,
Yeah.
those are bones of dragons.
No, because of.
Tell me I'm
no.
wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
No.
This is devolving.
Now listen
well,
to me.
I feel like
okay,
the dragon
how about
could
this?
be the
How about this?
pterodactyl.
You know how people are like, oh yeah, unicorns aren't real. They're magical. Like unicorns can't possibly exist. A unicorn,
the unicorn
is a
that's-
horse with a horn.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a giraffe before?
Well, there's a little different.
Listen to me. Have you've seen a giraffe, right?
There's
Yeah.
It's a
narwhals.
horse with a long neck
Narwhals.
and spots, and it's as tall as
And
a
it's
tree.
got, it has 2 horns.
Like,
Yeah.
why is that? That's not weird. Narwhal, a whale with a giant.
That's a whale
horn.
unicorn.
Whale unicorn.
I just want to
But
point out that
unicorn-
technically the narwhal's horn is a tooth, but keep going. You're doing
So
great.
why can't a
Well,
unicorn
yeah, 'cause
have a
it's
tooth?
all- it's bone, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you never know.
It's like what made us decide like
Let's talk
oh yeah,
about-
unicorns are weird and
Yeah.
magic.
What
Dragons
is-
are weird
what
and
is
magic.
unicorn?
Evolution had something to do with that. You know what I'm
You
saying?
think that's what I think.
Like I wonder if like there was this one variable that if it was different, all horses would have horns. And
Is
and
it
none- and
Ireland
none of them
who
wouldn't.
the unicorn is like the country animal? Is
Yeah.
it Ireland? It's Ireland, right?
Yeah,
I feel
something
like it's
that.
not Ireland.
We played
talking
that
about
in
the
California.
You know, I'll
Yeah,
look it up.
that's
I'm
right.
a fact checker. I'll look it up.
Okay.
Fiction.
That
Remember
was
that?
a little
Good,
rough.
Harkening back to
That
the
was a little
early
rough.
years.
That wasn't even.
What
Okay.
fact or fiction was rough?
Listen, I want to say
No,
something.
that right there was a little rough.
I want to say something about Elf on the Shelf one more time.
Okay.
I saw a video and I was trying to put it in and it didn't work out.
Go ahead.
I saw one where the parents were divorced
Scotland.
and
Scotland.
the mom called an actual Uber to drive the Elf on the Shelf
No.
to Dad's house, and it showed up.
That's pretty funny.
Amazing.
Did
And
it have
had
a
like
tiny little
It had a
suitcase?
suitcase. It had a tiny little suitcase. And she's like, can I get his luggage? And he's like, yeah, you can touch the luggage. You just can't touch him.
Oh my god.
And
no.
now they make bags where if something goes wrong, like, and the parents want to touch them,
Take, like,
it's like,
tongs.
oh, you can use this just transportation bag to like move. And I'm like, too far.
Gosh.
That's
too much.
Would you believe that?
Do you wish you would? Do you wish you did that? Like, are your kids gonna do Elf on the Shelf?
Hell no. That's too much work.
That's why we're married. That's why we're married.
No.
Right there.
It is way too much work.
What
And
about Santa? What about Santa?
Oh, for sure, Santa.
What about dragons?
Yes.
If you want, hey,
Dinosaurs and dragons.
If you want to convince
More
my kids that
dinosaurs.
dragons are real,
What
go
about
right ahead.
dragons?
I don't have to. There's fossils all over
fossils
the world.
everywhere.
All over.
true.
Dragon fossils. Dragons.
Dragons. This was
Yeah.
this is quite an
Call an
ending to
Uber for the
episode.
dragons.
True.
Like, who decided that Nessie was probably not real?
Back off of Nessie.
No,
we don't
Nessie's
know.
definitely
We don't
real.
know.
Thank you. No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Those Animal Planet documentaries.
By the way, for backing me up, thank you.
What was I going to say? You stumbled upon a topic that I wanted to talk about.
Was it
Dragons.
Nessie?
Save it for next
Dinosaurs.
week.
Let's talk about this.
Save it
Oh,
for
Dragons,
next week.
dinosaurs.
Scotland. Can we
Guys,
just for one second?
This is such a better topic, and we talked about SNL for like 45 minutes. Why do we do it
Guys, we're
every
out of
week?
time. We're
Every
out of
week
time.
it's
First,
YouTube
wait,
and Emma
first, I
Chamberlain
gotta say this. I gotta
and
say
SNL.
this. I gotta say this. Props for Scotland.
Yeah.
Like they're really holding fast
Sticking
to
to
Nessie,
it.
and their national
Unicorn.
animal is a unicorn. Go Scotland. Props
Is that
to
where
you.
Nessie is?
Yeah.
Is Loch
Loch-
Ness in
Yeah, Loch Ness and
is in Scotland?
Yep.
Scotland.
Hey, learn something new
Also
every day.
cool that they call lakes locks.
That's they call a lot of things a lot of things. It's a different language, right? I mean,
Scottish.
Scottish baby.
they have a different language over there.
Yeah, it's like
They don't
something.
speak English, right?
Well, it's kind of
they?
I think it's like Ireland where they have Ireland
Like-
has like a like
Like
there's
Yiddish, right? Like
Kind
for
of, yeah,
Jewish
kind of like
people.
It's like they speak their vast majority is
Gaelic.
it's
Gaelic.
English, but they have Gaelic.
Yeah, okay.
You know the
John's like,
do the
no, that's
Amish speak
right.
a different language too?
They do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is such a better podcast than
Amish,
the first
Amish
half
have
of the podcast.
Save it for next
wait, I know.
week.
Listen, I know this. The Amish speak Pennsylvania Dutch.
All right.
Those guys are crazy.
All right, John, can you switch
John's
over?
over it.
Oh, did it? Not
I'm
go?
pretty hungry,
freezing.
so it's time to go.
Listen, guys, that
Same.
one
Sorry.
that's like just I love the Amish.
Yep. That's good.
That's it. I'm getting a new switcher. Don't worry, no problem.
John, react.
All right.
This week's episode.
Here we are. First
TikTok.
one. This has been a trend
Next week,
going on.
Instagram.
You steal the food critic's iPhone and need Face ID to unlock it. That's been a trend on TikTok of like if you look like someone using the Face ID. You know?
Okay, go ahead.
How's he
Samoyed.
controlling each?
How's he doing that?
There's no
The
way.
caption was like his ears have a mind of its own.
There's a dude behind him.
Yeah, there's someone going.
No.
Just like Santa.
No.
Fake.
Fake,
No.
fake news,
fake. Okay.
Oh, look at
Little
these cute
self-promotion.
cats.
Little
Your own
self-promotion.
TikTok? Yeah, that is bold.
Yes. Because it's Christmas
It's gonna be loud. Oh no. Okay.
So we have these little gnomes all around the house. I think they think they're rats, even though they don't move.
Or they just hate gnomes.
They do.
And Dennis will do this thing, like in this clip. He'll knock it over and then not be able to reach it and just give up.
So stupid.
Chaos. Wake up and find gnomes everywhere.
Imagine that's a cast.
These little trees, I forgot I put
Oh,
them
this
out
is
at the beginning of
longest
December.
TikTok I've
Yep.
ever seen.
Yep. It's still going.
Yeah.
Still going.
That's all.
That's it.
That's all.
Awesome.
Literally, those little trees,
Wow.
I put them out at the beginning when we got home, and
Yeah.
I found them under the couch this week. I forgot I even had
Every
them.
single day. These guys, they hate gnomes. They hate trees.
Do they like their
They
hats?
want to mess them up.
Yeah.
They want
No,
to kill them.
they do not like their hats. Nope.
Yeah, no, they love them. They love the hats.
Little puppy with a grasshopper. Or praying mantis. Oh, puppy.
Yeah, eat it. Kill it.
Oh my
Eat
God.
it.
The praying mantis trying to kill the
Oh my
puppy.
God. Yeah, this is horrible.
Oh, they're friends.
I hate bugs.
Moments
For,
after
like,
this TikTok, he freaking ate it.
Yeah.
Crushed it with his paw.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
Go ahead and switch
was
that
anything
over.
achieved? Was anything accomplished
I
this
think we
week?
talked a lot of good things about.
John, go ahead and switch that over.
Yeah, next week we'll give the answers to
I have some ideas for
humanity's
next
world
week. Next
problems.
week, also, I'm saying, speaking into existence.
Oh yeah, are you?
We're doing our Christmas cocktails next week.
Okay.
So come ready.
Heard that one before.
No, we're all making one. So you're
Can we
making
cut?
one too.
Can we cut in from last week's episode? John saying that in the last at the 1 hour mark.
No, I got it. We're gonna have Christmas cocktails
Yeah,
on an
cut.
episode.
Thank you for cutting it. Cosplay as John learning that Christmas cocktails weren't happening.
Gosh.
Take a seat.
All right.
Your handwriting is the same as.
All
Same,
right.
Santa's handwriting.
same as Santa's.
There's no Christmas cocktail. I said.
He's clocked out.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Yeah,
you gotta.
yeah.
You gotta
Go
crawl. No, you have to
Yeah.
crawl off.
No, I'm not crawling
No,
out.
it's Annie rules. You have to
No.
crawl
Yeah,
out.
Nick
You're not-
Miller it out,
Hey,
man.
the
You
newest
took
one
the
here.
headphones
Can't
out.
make
You took
rules.
the headphones out.
I can do whatever I want.
Wow. We're devolving into madness. We're fighting each other. It's tearing us apart.
Well, from all of us here in the Albright Entertainment Studios, make somebody laugh today.
No.
Form your own opinions. Santa's not real. We'll see you next week on What the Podcast. Nonsense.
Nonsense.
Ba-ba-doo-ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Bad